Hello and welcome to Ground Zero, where I talk about different topics. This week's topic is the video game Life is Strange 2. Now, before we get into the topic, don't forget to blow up that like and subscribe button. We'll start off at the beginning and the introduction of the characters. Basically, it's centered around Sean and Daniel, these two brothers, and going into the story, like in the very beginning, like after Sean gets home from school, he's about to go to a party, and the younger brother Daniel is wearing a costume for Halloween that he's made, and he's outside as a zombie, and one of the neighbors, another older boy, is messing with him. So Sean goes outside to protect Daniel basically, and he ends up getting in a fight with the other boy, and a policeman shows up, and it starts getting messy, and the two boys' not brother, but father comes outside to try and settle everything, but the cop seems new and the cop's young, so he's on edge and he ends up shooting the boy's father, and then Daniel, he screams and he kind of emits like a power surge thing, which kind of causes an explosion. So Sean takes Daniel and they go run off because they're young and they're scared, obviously. Sean's a teen and Daniel's like, he's probably like a preteen. He's probably like 11 or 12. So they go and they run away, and of course, like, Sean's like still kind of freaked out, and at this point he doesn't kind of know about Daniel's powers. He just knows that something went off in the middle of all that, and as they're going along, it's like after a few days they're still walking. They go to a gas station, and some guy recognizes their pictures because it was on the news. Because the cop died after the explosion happened, and the guy at the gas station takes Sean, but he doesn't take Daniel, and kind of kidnaps Sean and keeps him in like a trailer type thing. And that's kind of when they discover Daniel's powers, because they use that so Sean can escape. And they go into the woods, escape, like from other people, so they don't get like recognized and someone calls the police on them. And while they're like before they go off into the woods, they are trying to get to their grandparents' house on their mother's side, who did leave their father. She's not dead. And some guy that they did see earlier does help drive them to a certain point, and they also get a dog that the guy had found, I think, and they keep the dog as they go off into the woods. And it's like the next chapter for it. It's been a while that they've been in the woods, and Daniel's kind of trained using his powers, and he's getting better at it. So he's able to lift like large boulders and such. And then, like in the beginning of it, they let the dog, which they named Mushroom, out. And since like they're in a rocky area, a mountain lion does attack the dog, and the dog does end up dying. And Daniel kind of freaks out, and you have the option to spare the mountain lion or to let Daniel kill it, basically. Because in the game you have like certain options, and it'll change like the events that happen in it, kind of like the first game, Life is Strange 2. And then they do make it to their grandparents' house, and before, I think, the third or fourth chapter, the developers did come out with a kind of like a side game called Captain Spirit, which does coincide with Life is Strange 2, because while they're at their grandparents' house, Daniel does meet the boy from Captain Spirit, and they become friends, essentially. And then while they're at their grandparents' house, because that's on their mom's side, they do find out things about their mom and like where she lives. But someone does recognize Daniel and Sean, because they did go with the kid from Captain Spirit and his dad to go get a Christmas tree, because it was around Christmas at the time. And someone recognized them and called the police. So Daniel and Sean had to escape from there, and now they're riding. At the end of it, they're riding on a train, and they haven't decided whether or not to go to their mom's house, because Daniel wants to, because he wants to meet his mom, but Sean's kind of reluctant because he's still like holds a grudge because she did leave them probably at a young age for Sean, but Daniel was like a baby, so he doesn't really know anything about her. And that's kind of where they ended off at the last chapter that they had, which is the fourth one, I think. They haven't released one currently, so you don't really know where they're headed to. It just ends at them being on the train and them heading some different place. So that's the end for this video. See you next week.